My family skipped my wedding because my sister's dog was sick. Story. I have a sister that's 6 years older than me. My parents for years canceled on me last minute because of my sister. I have a basketball game. Oops, sorry, sister doesn't feel like going out. I am graduating. Oops, sorry, sister had a bad day at work. They have missed both major and smaller events in my life because of her meltdowns. I met the love of my life. We decided to tie the knot. From the beginning, I told my parents how I was worried my sister would ruin another special moment in my life. My mom told me over and over again it would not happen. The day of my wedding, I received a voicemail from my mom saying they couldn't come because my sister's dog was sick and she was upset. I was hurt. My best man, however, is a jokester. He took my phone, then went to my fiancé and asked if he could post a video of our wedding as a gift on social media. She loved his idea. I had no idea about it until I came home. Our honeymoon was at a lakeside cabin, no cell service. The post caption was, "My best friend. He's an amazing person, even if his parents never showed up for him." The video was still pictures of us next to our parents, me on the dance floor, cutting the cake, where you would normally see both parents in wedding pictures. The sound behind the video was my mom's voicemail explaining how they couldn't come because my sister's dog was sick. I came home a week later to hundreds of messages. Family members from both sides insisted I take it down. I was told my sister hadn't stopped crying. My mom is refusing to leave the house. I may be the A here. I didn't take it down when I got my messages. I didn't call my family back right away. I waited until my vacation time was over at work and enjoyed my time with my wife in our new home before I contacted anyone. My dad told me to take down the video. It was just a bad night for them, that they will make it up to me and my wife for not coming. My reply was exactly, "How do you plan to make up my wedding? It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You choose to ignore my feelings on the whole matter." Then he just repeated he would make it up to me. I told him I would take down the video only when he made up missing my wedding. Flustered, we both hung up the phone before we both said things we shouldn't have. Am I the a-hole here? I could have just taken down the video. Response 1. Not the a-hole. The truth hurts sometimes, and your parents and sister just got wrecked. Your friend is awesome. Please leave the video up. Reply 1. Seconded. Your friend didn't manipulate their words. Your parents would have nothing to cry about if they hadn't done anything wrong. They skipped your wedding with one seriously pathetic excuse. Let them feel the effects of that. Reply 2. Your friend is the true MVP in this story. OP, keep that video up until the end of time. Your parents need to be reminded just how much they failed you and favored your sister. Your family doesn't like it. Lucky for you, you just married into a new one, not the a-hole. Reply 3. My in-laws pulled this crap on us. We invited them to come visit for Christmas a couple years ago, but they couldn't come because, and I'm paraphrasing here, it was wintertime and my mother-in-law wears shorts inside the house, and if they hired a pet sitter for the feral cat she feeds in the garage, wouldn't recognize them because they would undoubtedly be wearing pants and would refuse to eat. I'm like, dude, you could have just said no. Response 2. Not the a-hole. They were finally called out on their blatant favoritism, and they obviously didn't take it well. I'd hold off inviting them anywhere or doing anything, OP, at least for a while. Don't make them your first priority when you clearly aren't theirs. Focus on your new wife and your absolutely awesome best friend. They both sound like keepers. Reply 1. TBH, my parents missed my wedding because my sister's dog was sick, and she was sad it would probably be NC worthy for me. Reply 2. Especially if my sister was 6 years older than me. If she were 4 and the family pet was dying, it may be understandable, but a grown-ass woman needing both her parents to be consoled because her dog wasn't well? Jesus. Blatant golden child, black sheep BS going on there. The daughter gets pampered and spoiled since her birth, to the point of her taking it absolutely for granted. Son gets neglected and emotionally abused, to the point of him knowing better than to expect anything from his parents at all. Reply 3. And I've definitely seen this before when someone doesn't like so much attention going to someone else in their circle. Suddenly, and I'm giving the attention stealers the benefit of the doubt that this may be somewhat subconscious, and coinciding with that event, they have a stupid problem that they need support from the same network of people that the other person was counting on. The parents in the OP scenario should definitely have been able to see this tendency after a couple of times and should have nipped it in the bud long ago. Reply 4. How does that saying go? Don't move heaven and earth for a person who won't cross the street for you. IIRC. Also, don't make someone a priority who only makes you an option. OP would be fully within his rights to put his parents and sister on the back burner for a while and live his life without even remembering to invite them to anything important. Oh well, I figured you guys would be busy, so I never told you about the event. Too bad though, you would have enjoyed it, just like you would have enjoyed my basketball games, my graduations, my wedding. Reply 5. Damn, I wouldn't even invite them to the birth of my first. They can be updated with everyone else, seeing as they prefer to see the footage later rather than be there in person. Not the a-hole. Also, how old is the sister? OP doesn't say their age, but if they're getting married, I'm assuming 18 plus, if not mid-20s already. This means a late 20s, 30-year-old woman cannot put herself aside for one day to allow the younger sibling to shine. That's a we're done for me. Response 3. Not the a-hole. I think I'm in love with the best man. He absolutely showed your parents favoritism, hypocrisy, in the best way ever. I hope there will never be an invite to a baby shower, etc. Reply 1. Never. They have made clear where their priorities lie. I'm beginning to think your sister is doing this stuff on purpose. You are in the spotlight and all of a sudden she has a tragedy at that exact moment, knowing your parents will blow you off for her. That's a BF for life calling out their BS. There is no way to make it up to you. Never invite them to anything ever again, and make sure they know this and know about the events as they unfold. If they show up uninvited, have them removed. Reply 2. Not the a-hole. I know, right? Man, that was icing on the cake, and where I lost it was when I read that the voicemail played in the background. Genius. Dude, OP, live your life with your wife and their family. Sounds like you don't need that unsupportive negativity in your life. It hurts more because it's family, obviously, unfortunately, but look at the positives. Everyone showed you what their priorities were that day, and others. I wouldn't be leaping to include them in the rest of my life if I were you. Reply 3. Not the a-hole. Your best man is a keeper. What he did was absolutely perfect. In effect, he held up a mirror to your parents and sister that showed them exactly what they had done. They were totally embarrassed, not because they hurt you, but because the whole world knows what they are like. I would take note of anyone who told you to take down the video because they are enabling your parents' poor treatment of you. Just curious why everyone is demanding that it be taken down, since it isn't like there's anyone left out there who hasn't seen it. Personally, I'd keep it up forever. Maybe send it to your parents on your anniversary, your birthday, and during the holidays. When you have kids, maybe send it to your parents' kids' birthdays too. Response 4. So typically, when someone asks you to take down a video of them because it's embarrassing, you do it because it's polite. But in this case, hard, not the a-hole. They didn't have a good reason to miss it, and they're rightfully mortified. They made the bed, they can lie in it. Reply 1. I agree. I'm one to say it's cringe to air your dirty laundry on social media, but this is completely deserved. I would have to be unconscious in a hospital to miss my kid's wedding. Reply 2. 2 weeks before I was supposed to get married, my mom went into the hospital. She had heart failure, and they told us she wouldn't be leaving for over a month. My mom told the doctors, well, I'm leaving for one day to go to my daughter's wedding. You can come if you want. Obviously, I straight up called off the wedding because I wanted her there, but she was dead serious. Reply 3. We were in a similar situation with my father-in-law. He had pancreatitis a week before the wedding, and we were very concerned and feared for him. And 2 days before the wedding, he was better, could eat, etc. He told us not to cancel the wedding, even if he was at the hospital. And the D-Day, he surprised us in the church. He got out of the hospital against medical advice, but as he was determined, his doctor told him to be back at a certain time and took a cab 3 hours to come. He entered the church after us. There are wonderful pictures of us ugly crying when we spotted him. It was an awesome gift he made us. Reply 4. The video of everyone enjoying the wedding is fine. It's the voicemail message playing in the background when the mother of the bridegroom explains to the groom that neither she, nor the groom's father, nor the groom's sister can attend the wedding because the groom's sister's dog isn't feeling well, which has upset the groom's sister. WTF is wrong with these people. Complete, not the a-hole. Additionally, this is the funniest instance of justice being dealt to assholes that I have ever come across. Tell your best man, well done, keep it up. Reply 5. Let's be real here too. It was probably embarrassing for OP for his parents not to show up. I can't think of another event where the participation or absence of your parents is more obvious and apparent than at your wedding. If your parents aren't dead and they aren't there, people who don't know you assume things, that you are estranged or that they don't support the wedding, for example. On your day, you want people focused on your wedding, not the unexplained absence of the groom's parents, not the a-hole. Response 5. Not the a-hole. It was just a bad night, out of many, many other bad nights where they ignored you in favor of your sister's whims. See if your best man can pull up footage of your graduation and maybe pictures from games they missed and produce a greatest hits compilation video to post right next to the wedding video. Reply 1. Bad nights that miraculously happened and most likely only on significant events of OP, their son, as well as, also miraculously, always involving the sister in their bad nights. To be honest, I hope OP realizes that family isn't tied to blood and that his friends and now wife, also probably her family, are his true family. Honestly, unless there were financial ties to his family, I would have cut ties with them. I'm surprised he didn't after they missed his graduation. I can only imagine the pain and hurt he went through when all those events as a kid, he looked into the crowd for his parents and saw that they weren't there time and time again. Reply 2. Yeah, I was hoping the Friends video would include that as well. They should definitely do another one with photos of his major life events and showing his parents not being there for any, along with captions about the sister. They can use the TikTok "Oh No" song in the background. Response 6. Not the a-hole. Every single person at your wedding saw that they didn't show up. So what exactly are they hoping to hide by taking it down? If they felt justified not coming, stand by that decision and defend it. If you can't, then you know you did something wrong. They deserve it. They can't make up for missing your wedding for no good reason. Reply 1. There are legitimate reasons for missing your kid's wedding. Anthrax exposure, caught in a hurricane, deathly ill due to a rabid weasel bite. Your favorite child's pet being sick is not one of them. They were hoping to hide the fact that they're garbage parents who don't love their children, thanks to the greatest friend ever that's no longer possible. Reply 2. My mom missed mine because she was in the ICU with what we thought was pneumonia. She was diagnosed with vasculitis and was bleeding into her lungs. She told us to do the wedding anyway, so we did. We did go to the hospital in our full wedding attire after the fact. I do not recommend hiking across the Cleveland Clinic main campus in a heavy wedding dress and 5-inch heels. Reply 3. Your poor mom. That was an awesome way to make her still feel like she was there. Hope she fully recovers. My wife worked at a seniors center when we got married, so it was like having 30 sets of parents and grandparents. Most were too old, frail, or sick to attend the wedding. So naturally, we had a mock ceremony after the fact in their reception hall in full wedding attire so that they could all attend, then a special dinner with cake and everything. The moral of the story is, it's nice to be able to share something so special with those who mean the most to us, which is what makes OP's parents so infuriating. Reply 4. She did fully recover from the vasculitis flare, but having it for so long absolutely trashed her lungs, and the meds she had to be on trashed her immune system. COVID got her last September. It wasn't until after she died that my dad said that her lung capacity had really tanked to the point that her blood oxygen levels dipped into the 70s or 80s if she was too active. It's awesome that you guys had a mock ceremony. We didn't go that far, but my husband and I, his brother, and my best friend all went to the ICU. Response 7. Not the a-hole. But do yourself a favor and cut them out of your life. If you are not important to them, don't let them be important to you. I did this with my father, and I am better off now. Reply 1. This. Going to NC would help immeasurably. They are never going to make it up to you. You've stated this yourself. Anytime they will try to make it up to you, I mean, how can they? They missed your effing wedding. Sister will throw some kind of hissy fit and they will pick her. Seriously, OP, do yourself a favor and write them off. Your mental health will be better for it. Reply 2. Yeah, all of that, but OP should also see a licensed therapist. Like, he's asking if he should take it down strangers on Reddit. How much negligence and gaslighting have they put on OP all those years? And he can't even trust his own truth and judgment on keeping or deleting the video. Reply 3. Personally, before going NC, I would make a list of every event and big moment they missed along with the excuse they gave OP and show them and ask when and how will the parents ever make up for it all. But I admit to being petty and willing to go to scorched earth. Reply 4. For years, my dad told me lies to get out of things, which I never understood. My 30th was my final straw, so I went to NC after that. I only heard from him one more time when my cousin died. He never ever made any attempt to patch things up, and then he died of lung cancer some years later. I hope he regrets it. A big part of me wishes he did make an effort, but the fact that he didn't prove I made the right call in going NC. OP is not the a-hole. Man, what a basket case of a family. Reply 5. Bingo. Family first values can be some of the most toxic crap if you let them keep poisoning your life. I haven't cut my family out entirely, except one cousin and the parents that went with him. Just put and kept my distance and focused on my life. It's been much more peaceful and productive that way. Response 8. Not the a-hole. My parents missed my wedding, too, all because my sister didn't want to come because my husband is from Italy, and we had it in his hometown, and she didn't like the weather forecast. LOL, no joke. Even despite their tickets and accommodation being paid for, story of my life. Missed events due to her issues, needs, and I don't even blame my sister because she's so enabled by my parents enabling and doesn't know better, LOL. Didn't know until the night before needing to pick them up at the airport. I cried and then laughed and then got married without them. Never spoke to anyone ever again and been in NC for almost 15 years. You get to a point where you realize that what you allow will continue. Don't ever take that video down. Let them be reminded every year it comes up that they are to blame and their mistakes are the reason you cut them off. Reply 1. My narc father-in-law didn't come to our post-COVID big vow renewal and reception, even though it was 1.5 hours from his home. His disability does often means that he has to cancel plans even when he wants to do something. But that wasn't the problem. He was going through a GI issue 6 months before the wedding and said he wasn't coming. He hadn't seen a specialist yet, but he had made an appointment for 4 to 5 months before the wedding. Every suggestion made for his comfort was denied by him. We even cost out hiring a home health aide for the day to accompany them and then drive him home at a reasonable time. But nope, he just wasn't going to come. Okay, fine, we accepted his choice. It's his body, after all, even though I personally think he should have spoken to the doctor before finalizing his decision 6 months out. But then he began to wail that he wouldn't have anyone home with him for almost 2 days. Close friends offered to stop by before and after the wedding to check up on him, leaving him home alone for 10 hours on the wedding day, something he experiences on a weekly basis. But it wasn't good enough. He had to have my wonderful, kind mother-in-law there. He demanded that she leave the reception after the mother-son dance so she could make him dinner. It seems like I'm being harsh on a poor disabled man, but he is perfectly capable of being home alone and heating up prepared meals even on his worst days. He's done it many, many times, even with the recent health issue. No, he's a narcissist who has weaponized his illness, and I'll prove it with the next line. When mother-in-law refused to leave the reception early, he demanded that she not be in any pictures. In fact, he didn't want his wife and other kids in any pictures because it would highlight the fact that he wasn't there and he wouldn't be able to show his relatives, whom my husband has never met, the photos. So obviously, husband and I ignored that. Their mother-in-law and siblings were in tons of photos, and he can suck a duck because I love my mother-in-law and I don't want her to have to deal with his temper tantrums. My father-in-law has only seen a carefully curated album without his own family in it, and he wonders why I call my mother-in-law mom while I barely speak to him. Reply 2. OP, you are not the a-hole. No way. I don't understand your parents or your sister's treatment of you, but at least you can console yourself because you have friends and another family, your wife's, that treat you with the respect you deserve. Please consider these folks who stick with you as your new family. Leave the others behind. Leaving one's birth family behind is painful, but your birth family has already caused you much pain in your life, hasn't it? As you personally experience the love and respect of your new family, you will become more certain that the old one is best left in your past. I don't see your mother, father, or sister changing or even attempting to genuinely apologize to you for their horrible indifference to your happiness. If I were you, I wouldn't give the old family any consideration for their hurt feelings engendered by the video. Of course, they should be embarrassed by it. We all deserve to be embarrassed when confronted by our misdeeds. It seems that video is now serving to protect you from further disrespect from your old family. It is keeping them away from you. Embrace the new love and respect and discard the old neglect and mistreatment. OP, there is a right and wrong in your situation. Those people who consider you wrong for not removing the video are obviously incapable of being objective when it comes to choosing right over wrong. Until you hear from them something like, "I understand why you're upset. I love you and hope you will allow me to be present in your life." Do not give them any slack. Do not allow them back into your life. Response 9. In cases like this, I'm in favor of a straight conversation. It goes something like this. "Listen, you guys don't love me. You don't like me. You don't want me in your life. For reasons I don't understand, you've chosen to prioritize every ridiculous excuse my sister has and let it ruin any chance of a relationship with me. Given that you let her sick dog cause you to miss my wedding, I think it's time for us to call it on this relationship. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. This relieves you of any effort to pretend you care about me. I forgive you and I'm letting you go. I won't be contacting you anymore under any circumstances. I won't accept any communications from you either. You are welcome to stalk my social media for pictures of my future kids, but my guess is that if your sister finds out, she'll have a meltdown and you'll stop just to make her feel better. That's okay too. And then, my love, walk away. Make your own family. There's no value in letting them continue to minimize your life. ETA, not the a-hole. I always forget to vote." Reply 1. I agree, with the exception of telling them you forgive them. I may someday forgive myself for letting them treat me that way, and maybe go as far as to forgive them for my own sake, but I'd never tell them that they are forgiven, because they don't deserve the closure. That might seem petty, but I can't just be giving forgiveness away until they've actually done something to earn it. Response 10. More information needed. If you have kids, will you want your parents and sister in their lives? Your parents will skip out on your children like they keep skipping out on you. Did they promise you to babysit one time? Can't do it. Sister had a bad hair day. Wanted to go out on an outing with your kids and you? Can't do it. Sister had to actually work at work. Your baby's first birthday? Can't come. My sister has a hangnail. And what would happen if your sister managed to procreate? Your children will always be second to hers. Always. The favoritism won't stop in your generation. Reply 1. Thank you for saying this. I 100% agree with this take, and it is the number one concern I have for OP moving forward. Being a grandparent is a privilege, and OP should protect his future kids. Sometimes that means cutting out toxic family members so they don't hurt them the way OP was hurt. I adamantly hope OP sees this comment and seriously reconsiders his relationship with them. Reply 2. Can confirm. My mother was the black sheep of the family in my grandmother's eyes since she was a child, and my grandma made sure I never felt loved or wanted by her as well. She was a mean tyrant, and I never regretted going to NC with her when I was 16, even not after she died. She made her bed, and she could lie and rot in it for all I cared. Response 11. Not the a-hole. Leave the video up, and when parents try to contact you again, first insist on the plan to make it up to you. Next year on the day of the anniversary, share the video again, and add to the caption that despite your parents not going to your wedding, they promised to make it up to you, but you're still waiting for their plan. Congrats on the wedding. Reply 1. The "I'll make it up to you" part really slayed me. How on earth do you come back from that? I had an aunt RSVP no to my wedding, giving a bunch of valid reasons. I was fine with it. She lives in another country, and not everyone has the time or money to travel. But then she ended with, basically, we'd love to come see you, but at a more convenient time for us. It took every ounce of self-control and grace I had not to reply, sure, you can just come next time I get married. Response 12. Not the a-hole. Your best friend is the GOAT. As others have mentioned, everyone knew they weren't at the wedding, so the video wasn't revealing some dark secret, just their crappy behavior. You mentioned your sister having meltdowns. Does your sister have a disability, developmental delay, TBI, or otherwise need care? Because that is the only reason I can see as to why your parents need to constantly help her. But she should probably be in an adult home to have a professional taking care of her. Your parents should not be neglecting you in their efforts to help your sister. But also, if your sister does have one of the above, it is misleading not to have included it for context. Sometimes people will change their judgments if you leave out important details like that. Response 13. Congrats to you and your wife. Not the a-hole. Please don't take it down. Your best man is awesome for finding such a creative way to call out their BS. Your mom won't leave the house because she knows not turning up to your wedding for those reasons is pathetic. Let her feel terrible. She should feel terrible. Your sister's tears mean nothing. She's just trying to give me attention to herself. As others have said, this is toxic. Consider going NCLC. Concentrate on your wife and your new life. Leave this crap where it belongs. Response 14, not the a-hole. How are your parents going to make up for missing your wedding? I am a dog lover and a sister, and this is ridiculous. I can understand if she bowed out if her pet suddenly was ill, but to keep your parents home, I suspect is just the tip of the iceberg of her selfishness. Why should you take down the video? I see no regret, just embarrassment. How did the dog get sick? Am I the only one who is suspicious that this happened on your wedding day? Someone check on that puppy. Response 15. More information needed. I just want to double check. Does the sister have any type of developmental disorder, any debilitating neurodivergent conditions that could mean self-harm was possible in some way and the parents are stuck playing guardians? Because that's the only thing that would make this behavior even remotely acceptable. Sorry they missed your wedding, dude. Sounds like it was pretty rad. Reply 1. OP said in another comment that she is perfectly fine other than being spoiled. She can cry on demand and her parents come running every time. She gets mad every time that she is not the center of attention.